Mid-July in Michigan, and currently it's honeybee heaven. Not that way all year round. Beginning of summer, the crop farmers are out in the field spraying toxic chemicals, and that's hard on my honeybees, and nobody on YouTube seems to want to talk about it. You get stupid people that are talking about lack of sugar because of supply chain shortages. If you do stuff like this, Dutch white clover, do you really think you need sugar at the end of summer or fall going into winter? The reason I have been using sugar the last few years is because I've been making a lot of new colonies. Last summer I had more new colonies than I had existing colonies. These elm tree bugs. And I had to give them syrup before winter to make sure they had enough. And I spent about $2,000 doing it. So this year, because sugar is almost doubled what it was a year ago, I'm going to let them fend for themselves. They are putting on so much nectar into the hives with all this Dutch white clover. And I just planted this in May, and it's sprouting up flowers too. And then I'll show you some more. I'll show you the other side of this group of bees. And then look at all this. I let my property go to weeds. Goldenrod hasn't started yet, but look at all the sweet clover. All the way down through there. Currently have 149 colonies, 43 of them at another apiary on an organic hay farm. And I didn't take bees to another third apiary other than home because I have more nectar here for them. So, and the price of gas kind of made the decision that I was going to keep more bees here this summer. And what I'm doing is the smaller colonies are going to the hay farm. Eventually I'll get all of them over there, and eventually all the large colonies will be here because Michigan Bee Works bees usually ends up robbing my colonies towards the end of summer and fall. Pause. I took a whole row of bees a week ago to that other apiary and that organic hay farm. This row here, and a few days ago I mowed this down, and this clover here should come up. And then I took the smaller colonies from here along with those by the house to the other apiary to make room for the large colonies that I'm going to bring back. Now the reason my bees have a hard time in the winters because right now they're currently bringing in toxic chemicals from crop farmers' fields. GMO soybeans are not good for them. GMO means the plants absorb the chemicals and the bees bring those into the hives, and that causes them to not live very long. So if you have a long extended winter, the chances are they're not going to make it. The colonies get smaller and smaller as the bees die. That's the only reason why you need a pollen substitute. You need to get them restarted end of January, early February to keep up with the loss of the bees. If we didn't have these toxic chemicals in our environment, you wouldn't need that pollen substitute. And if you do things right, and if you have a good source of nectar for your bees, you won't need to feed them in the fall. Don't take away too much honey. See, here's more of that clover. And let me pause. This is the hay field next to my house, and it's already had a second cutting. There's my house. And luckily it rained after they cut it, and this clover, Dutch white clover, popped up. So everywhere out in this field, just about everywhere, it's hard to see it on the camera, but there is Dutch white clover everywhere. So that's why I have approximately 100 colonies here at home and 43 at the other apiary. My 100 colonies have enough nectar. I keep track, make sure they're bringing nectar, make sure I go out and I see if the flowers are providing nectar, it's not too dry. So everything's A-okay. This is honeybee heaven here in Michigan. Oh, I have a confession. I said in the video I wasn't going to break a colony down into several different mating nukes because they had queen cells. They decided to replace the queen. But after having such bad luck, doing about 50% on my virgin queens, I decided I broke it up to 3. And I've already, the medium was over there. That medium already had lost their virgin queen for 2 days. So I put it back on. This one has a virgin queen that is already laying. This one has a virgin queen that is not laying yet. I'm not even sure if she's mated, to be honest. So I split it up 3 ways, and hopefully, or well, I already know, I'm going to successfully get this colony restored. So if I would have left it alone, the chances are they would have not been successful in getting a new laying queen. And then here's one. They had a laying queen, but apparently they didn't like her, and they're starting over. And this one right here, this virgin queen's on day 12. So this is the last. Oh, and I had another new laying queen, new colony over here against the garage wall. I opened it up and I found queen cells. So sometimes you are surprised with what you see. That's why I like beekeeping. When you open a hive to check, see how the colony's doing, you never know what you're going to find. At one point, they may have a laying queen, and then they may not like her. She may not have been mated very well, and then you open up the hive a couple weeks later, a week later, and they've started queen cells. That's just the way it is, okay? But I am sustainable. I don't buy queens. I really don't need to buy sugar. The only thing I have been buying is wax foundation, but you can do frames without foundation, put a little bit of beeswax on them, and they will make the comb all by themselves. And like I said, the pollen substitute is required because of the toxic chemicals in the environment. Bees don't live very long because of that. During the summer, you don't notice it that much. I have had bees on the ground out here when all the farmers were out in the fields planting. For 2 weeks, they were going like this on their backs. It's the pesticides. But after the rain washes away the environment, gets all that stuff into the ground, I don't see that anymore. But your bees are still bringing in the toxic chemicals, and it's going to hurt them during the winter. And nobody on YouTube talks about it. You guys are a bunch of sheep. You're too afraid to say anything against the government or the corporations because you're cowards. You're spineless. You know, this used to be the greatest country in the world, America, but the corporations have destroyed it. You guys have let it happen. This has been going on for decades. Clinton's the one that sent our jobs to Mexico and China or made it possible. You know, here in Michigan, I've seen so many factories close down over the last 25, 30 years. I knew this was coming years ago. I've got blueberries out there. I've got asparagus. You guys are worried about inflation and how the food costs more. I don't buy that much food. I try to go as much as I can. So like over here, I know this is a mess, but this is potatoes because my other garden is now Dutch white clover, so I had to move various parts of my garden here and there, and I can't keep up the weeds. Okay, so you guys, if you feel sorry for yourselves, well, you guys let it happen. Okay? Americans are the dumbest people on the planet. You know, watch some of George Carlin's comedy. You know, he says we're fat and stupid. He said that many years ago, 2005, somewhere around that time, before he died, and he was right. You guys are fat and stupid, okay? Thank you.